Hi, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to make my vegetable coconut curry soup, or as my kids like to call it, that soup you make. I'll initially show you all of the ingredients, and then I'm going to prep the food and come back and we'll make the soup. So you'll need some olive oil or coconut oil or avocado oil for putting in the pan before we start sauteing. An onion, I had this in my fridge. It's an onion cut up. Some carrots, 1 or 2, you decide, doesn't really matter. Some celery, I use 2 stalks, you could use 1 or 4. Part of the way I like to cook is very ad lib and not too tight. So most of my recipes, there's a little bit of leeway, especially this recipe. If you don't like certain things, you don't have to add them, and then you can ad-lib your own. Part of cooking is learning how to do that. There are some items in this recipe that are non-negotiable. Coconut milk, non-negotiable. It's a coconut curry soup. We'll be using tomatoes. You could use diced, whole, crushed, or if you don't like tomatoes, you don't have to put them in. We'll be using beans. I like garbanzo beans. You could use pinto beans, great white northern beans, cannellini beans. Let's talk about vegetables. So whatever vegetables you like. In my freezer, I had some leftover broccoli the other day. I made that in it. I just went to the grocery store. I got some organic cut green beans. You could add mushrooms. You could add kale. I found half a bag of spinach in my fridge, so I'm going to put that in. My son loves potatoes. I bought 2 potatoes today to put in. I think you could put in sweet potato too if you like that, or a yam. Garlic. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to use garlic. And parsley, because it's so good for you. We'll be putting parsley in. So spices. The most important thing. So red curry paste, love this stuff. It adds a little bit of oomph to so many dishes. We're using garam masala, cumin, and curry powder. 2 limes, vegetable broth, a secret ingredient, maple syrup. You don't have to use this. I'm Canadian. I love just a little bit of maple syrup. And lemongrass. So lemongrass is hard to find. Well, I find it's hard to find. I got this at Whole Foods, but my other grocery store that I shop at, they don't have it like this. They have it cut up in a plastic container, and it's never great. But I did find this, so I'm going to teach you how to cut it open and mince up the inside, which is one of the ways you can use it. The other way I'll show you is to chop it up into bigger pieces, because you can't eat it like that, but it's good for flavoring. So I'll show you 2 different options with that. All right, so when we come back, I will have prepped the onion, celery, carrots. I put some green onions out here too. I'll have chopped up the potatoes, and I'll have about a cup of each of these. I think that's it. All right, I'll see you when I'm done chopping. All right, welcome back. So I have prepped everything. In here is onion, carrot, celery, and garlic. In here, when I opened that bag of spinach, it wasn't great. Ooh, sorry, Greta. It wasn't great, so I had to pick through it. I didn't get as much as I wanted, but that's okay. I would normally have bought a bunch of kale, organic kale. I chopped up the spring onions. I think I'll use those on top, like when you have your bowl, just to sprinkle on top. Washed and cut up the limes. I've opened up everything, and I just left the lemongrass here. While I'm cooking, I'll show you, hopefully, how to do that. So let me turn on the stove. I'm going to let this heat up just a little bit. The name of our channel, my channel, is Over the Hill Yoga. So why is there cooking on a yoga channel? Because I like to cook. And I put out a monthly newsletter. And in the monthly newsletter, I share a recipe. Over the Hill Yoga is a subscription-based yoga platform, video-on-demand yoga platform for active older adults. All of our teachers are 55 years of age or older. And we understand what it's like to be in an older body. So that is what Over the Hill is. Do I think you're over the hill? No. I think that when you're climbing up that hill and you reach, sort of getting to the top, there's so many other hills to climb. I do have a dry sense of humor though, and I thought it was kind of funny. So that's why I have cooking on this channel, because I like to cook and I like to share. Let me grab my spoon. Well, I'll take this spoon. I'm going to put in the garlic and carrots, onion, so that is going to cook for a little bit. While that's cooking, I'm going to get the lemongrass. Okay, so lemongrass has all these outer layers. I forget where I learned this. The first time I did it, I thought, oh, that is really cool. So you peel all these outer layers. Oh, I think this is going to work. So sometimes when you get to the inner layer, it's hard, but this already feels like it's pliable. I'm going to cut that. And as you get to the inside, there's this beautiful, soft, inner sort of core. There it is. Yeah, see how I can sort of, it's really soft. So this is all waste. And then I'm gonna chop this up. Okay, I'm going to do this with the other one, and then I'm going to come back, because I have 3 of them. I'm going to come back and I'll show you how to cut it up if you're not going to peel it. Like if your lemongrass isn't so fresh that you're not sure if it's got a nice soft inside. So let me chop this one up and then I'll come back and I'll show you. So if you are not going to try this method where you peel the lemongrass, take the lemongrass, take off the outer sleeve, maybe 2, depending on how clean it is. That looks good. And then I'm going to cut these into like big pieces. Maybe that one. Okay, so I'm going to put it all in actually. It's totally fine to use a little bit more. Remember, we're ad-libbing, not rigid, fluid. Kind of like yoga, where we don't want poses to be rigid. We want them to have a sense of fluidity. Same thing with cooking. There's lots of different ways to do this. I'm going to add in the vegetable broth. Oh, let me use my gloves. I just want to show you what this looks like. Turn it down. Can you see that? So that's the carrots, celery, onion, and garlic. I'm going to add in the vegetable broth. If you use homemade vegetable broth, that's even better. Maybe I'll do one of these where I teach how to make homemade vegetable broth. I'm going to dump in the tomatoes, coconut milk. There's always that nice thick stuff on the top. So delicious. Okay, green beans. And now I'm going to add the vegetables. In here I put a cup of the green beans, 1 cup, and I don't measure, but today I measured so that I could tell you approximately how much to use. A cup of the other vegetables. Remember, you can add mushrooms, corn, peas, whatever vegetables you like. I also have the potatoes in here. So I'm going to put that in. Now, if this, when you're making it, if it gets boiled down too much, you could also add some more vegetable stock. And we'll let that cook for a while. And I'll add in the spices. And again, I don't measure, but I think I'll measure today. Or kind of measure. I think it's about a teaspoon of garam masala that I would use. Yeah, about a teaspoon. Garam masala. It looks like I only have about a teaspoon left. So I'm going to dump that all in. Maybe it was a tablespoon. That's okay. Probably a tablespoon of curry. Okay. And then once you've made your soup and tasted your soup, you might decide you want more or less. Well, you can't put less in. That's something with cooking, right? You can never put less in of something. So always better to err on the side of less because then you can add more. Especially if you have cayenne pepper or something. And salt. We'll be adding salt too. All right, so I'm mixing this up. This looks delicious. Now the curry paste, probably 2 tablespoons. There's 1.5 and another half. It smells so good. So all those vegetables need to cook a little bit. The potato especially. I'm going to add the lemongrass and also this lemongrass. And of course, when you eat it, you don't eat the big ones. I'm going to add some salt. When I come back, I'm going to add the parsley and spinach, the lime juice, and a little bit, just a little bit of maple syrup. I'm going to put the lid on. It's going to come to a very gentle simmer, not a boil. Let's do it. And then I'll bring my son down and his good friend, and they will taste test it. And I always like to do that impromptu. Nothing's ever staged here. Okay. All right. So the soup has been cooking now for about 20 minutes. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to give this a stir. Tomato in there. Green beans. Looks so good. At this point, I'll add in the spinach and parsley. Squeeze the lime. This is the best lemon lime squeezer ever. So I've got 2 limes to squeeze. So I got this soup from my sister. She runs a horse farm up in Canada, and there's so many little kids running around there. It's a really great barn. It's called Canter Call, and the kids come and they spend the whole day there, and she makes this enormous soup and leaves it going, and the kids just come all day long and take a bowl of it. And she gave me the recipe years ago. I've been making this for years. All right. So this looks delicious, really good. I'm going to add my secret ingredient, which isn't so secret anymore. A little bit of maple syrup, not too much. Just like a tablespoon. And it does something. Like it's, if you tasted before and after, you would say it did taste a bit different. I also like to put just a tiny bit of that in my salad dressings. Makes them lovely. All right, so I'm going to let this cook for about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to taste it, make some adjustments if I need to, and that's my soup. All right, time to taste test. So I don't really need to taste the vegetables, but I just need to taste the broth. A little more salt. I actually think it might need a little more curry powder. When you are cooking, you have to taste your food. I used to work with a chef who never tasted his food. It was the most bizarre thing. You have to taste your food, because every time you make it, it's going to be a little bit different. You know, if you give everyone the same recipe, if you give 4 people the same recipe, everyone's going to taste different. So. Oh yeah, that's better. You know, I actually don't think it needs more curry. Okay, soup in the winter is so great. In summer too, but in the winter, just makes you feel warm. Justin, Xander, you want to come taste the soup? Okay. All right, come and taste test. Say hi.
Hello. Hello.
So I don't know if the potatoes are cooked yet, but you can just see. It is hot. Blow on it. Don't burn your tongue. Oof. Maybe you should come down in a minute. Is it too hot?
I haven't tried it yet. It's like a minestrone?
No, it's a coconut curry vegetable soup. Minestrone would have like red beans in it, I think, and
I'm gonna taste the coconut.
You can taste the coconut? Does it need more salt? Anything? More curry?
I don't know yet. It's good. I think maybe a little more curry.
Isn't it? That's what I thought too. When I first tasted it, I thought it needs a little more curry. What do you think?
I could use some more curry.
Okay. All right, I'm going to put some more curry in it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
This will be in the fridge tomorrow.
Yum.
You can eat it all day long.
This will be lunch.
This will be lunch, right. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks, Greta. All right, that's it. My coconut curry vegetable soup. I'm going to put a little more curry in it. Always remember to taste the food you're making. If you like this, please hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on future recipes, subscribe. And also, if you want my newsletter, go to find us on Instagram, Over the Hill Yoga. And there's a link there at the top. You can sign up for the newsletter. Thank you.